for Katie Chats here at SMITHEE TV in downtown Toronto with director Rama Rau. How does it feel to be nominated for 2 Canadian Screen Awards?
It feels really good. It feels unreal, actually, because this is something I've been dreaming of, especially the Donald Britton Award for Best Social Political Film. So it's been really nice. It's been exciting, and we got the other nomination for the Best Original Music, so it's been really exciting so far.
Great. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind the project.
Well, the nomination was for my film The Market, which was about the underground trade in kidneys. And it's always been bothering me that there's been so much underground, trade in human organs. So I said the best way to say it would be to make it an international story, make it across continents. So I've been working on it for a while, and it's been a really hard journey to make the film, but I think in the end it's all worth it when you get recognized in the industry for work that you've done, right?
And how do you generally go about finding your subjects?
Well, I start thinking of a broad concept at first, like what really interests me is women's issues or children's issues. You know, basically I think of myself as giving voice to a sector of the population that can't have a voice in some way, either they're too poor, uneducated, illiterate, or just from a third world country. Like I grew up in India, so for me, Indian stories are very close to my heart. And of course, women's stories, for me, if it's a woman involved, I will always be interested. So I start with that. Then I find people who would best illustrate that issue. And then I start seeing if they're good enough characters. So it's kind of a long process, but at the end of the day, it's worth it.
When you were making The Market, what most caught you by surprise? What were you most shocked by?
I was most shocked by the fact that I actually got a broker to speak on camera, because this is a very, very illegal trade, even in India, and yet it goes on. And when I found a broker, and she was a woman, and I kind of I became friends with her, and she said, you know what, I'll come on camera. And I said, do you want me to blur your face? She was like, no, show it. Let people know that I'm doing this out of poverty, I'm doing this out of need, and I'm not afraid. So that for me was the most surprising part as a filmmaker. You know, you wait for this, and yet you don't want to exploit anyone. So I promised her the film would never be seen in India, so it's not been seen so far in India.
And you're currently working with Ed Bearveld at Storyline Entertainment on The Unwanted. Tell me a little bit about that project.
Our new film has taken on a lot of energy, actually, in the past few months. And basically, it's about sex selection abortion. It's about cultures that choose sons over daughters, and they abort the female fetus. As soon as they know through ultrasound that it's a girl, they abort the girl babies. And we are tracing this all over the world, in the US, in the UK, in Canada. You know, there are cultures that are predominantly male, and we are wondering if this is going to become a huge global issue. So that's what the film Unwanted will be about.
And how do you predict that sex selection will manifest itself in terms of a global issue?
You know, it's there. People don't talk about it. People don't want to talk about it. And of course, in the States, it's very murky because it gets mixed up with the whole abortion issue. Now, I'm a firm believer in women's rights, and I really don't want to make anything that would be appropriated by the extreme right, by the religious right, and be said, see, this is why abortion is bad. So for us, it's a very fine line we're treading, and I want to make sure it's about the girl babies. You know, it's about women's rights, not about abortion being good or bad, right? It's never been about the abortion issue. It's always been about these kids have a right to live, have a right to be born. So for me, that's very important, and I'm hoping that it's a hard film. I don't know why I make hard films, but I do.
Absolutely. And tell me a little bit about the various communities more specifically that you'll be investigating.
Well, I think to start with, it would be the South Asian community. In India, it's a huge issue, and in China. So these two are the world's largest, well, they make up 40% of the global population, of the world's population. So if they are skewed towards males, you can imagine what's going to happen. And it's been predicted by population experts that by 2025, there will be 70 million single men in India and China who can never have a female partner. So these are the two main cultures. And these, you know, there's immigration, right? So now with immigration, the rest of the world is also implicated. So now with the abortion rights in the West, so it's a huge issue. But these are the two main cultures we will be exploring.
Now, the first few films that we were chatting about were very serious. I hear you have something more uplifting and fun coming out with a burlesque film.
Yes. We are working on a new film on burlesque, and it's not going to be the history of burlesque or anything like that. It's going to be the vintage vixens, the women who were the queens of burlesque, legends during the 1940s and 50s, during the Mad Men era. And we are finding people, and in Vegas, I'll be going to Las Vegas in June, and we are starting to shoot and do research. And it's going to be real fun because I'm so interested in the older women of burlesque and how they were really feminists, you know, in their own way. It was a time when women were just teachers or housewives. And yet these women went out and made a life for themselves and started earning and saying, this is what we are. They own their sexuality. And it's just a great story. So I'm really excited about that film.
Great. And why Las Vegas? What's happening there?
Vegas, so every year, the world's biggest event happens in Las Vegas, where they select the legend. It's called the legend, the living legend of burlesque. And our film is called The League of Exotic Dancers, because that's what they call themselves. And there are the younger women and the older women, and the older women come in to teach the art to the younger women. So it's not just porn, it's erotica in its finest art, you know. And for me, that's what really fascinates me, because it's the whole women's issues, women's power, sexuality, and getting old. Because these women have to face the issue of sagging flesh and the jeweled G-string that has to be put away at some point. So for me, I think it's going to be a really interesting film to work on, and later I hope it turns out really well.
And where's the best place to find out more information on you and your projects online?
I think right now there's nothing because we're still researching, but soon if you look at my website, that's trinatraproductions.com, I'll be putting up something on it. And of course, Storyline Entertainment will have that. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Congratulations on all your success. Best of luck at the CSAs.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats here at SMITHEE TV in downtown Toronto.